Well, ULM and Grambling State University have increased enrollment. ULM has a 4% increase in total enrollment. Grambling has an 11% increase in freshmen. Now, the nursing program at ULM is one of those seeing an increase. Dr. President Ron Barry says that he is proud of the growth.
We all know there's a shortage across the country of nurses, and that is certainly true in the state of Louisiana. So we're very excited that students have began returning to that program.
And both colleges have also grown in freshman international students.